The Ohio State Bar Association has twice rated me highly recommended. The Ohio Women's Bar has rated me excellent. And I believe that this is because of what I have described to you just now: background, experience, credentials, and record. I look forward to another term if the voters please. I understand that this is a position that is the voters, and I am looking forward to your vote in November. Thank you very much. I'm Judith Ann Lansinger.
Thank you, Justice Lansinger. Now we'll have opening comments from Judge Trapp.
Thank you and good morning. It's great to be back in my professional home, downtown Cleveland, and to be on the stage at the City Club. I've spent many, many years sitting out in the audience listening to famous and infamous speakers, and being the citadel of free speech, it's my honor and privilege to be here. I'm Judge Mary Jane Trapp. I'm the presiding and administrative judge of the 11th District Court of Appeals. I have the honor and privilege of serving the citizens of Ashtabula, Lake, Geauga, Portage, and Trumbull County. I began my legal career as a law librarian at the Ohio Supreme Court, and now I'm seeking a position on that court as an associate justice. My career path took me from my home in Columbus out to college in Massachusetts and down to Washington, where I worked on my honors thesis on women's interest groups. But I knew that my place was back here in Ohio, because Ohioans are honest, hardworking, common sense folk. And this is where I wanted to make my home. I came to Cleveland, to Case Western Reserve University. I fell in love with the diversity of Cleveland. I fell in love with the lake, and I fell in love with my husband, so I decided to make my professional home here in Cleveland. I spent 25 years practicing as a general civil, criminal, trial, and appellate practitioner in courts big and small over the state. I've tried jury trials in downtown Cleveland and in downtown Fremont, Ohio. I primarily represented working families, children at risk, and small business owners, because I came from a family, actually I was a third generation small business owner, because my husband and I had our own mom and pop litigation firm here in downtown Cleveland. I served my profession by being very active in the Cuyahoga County Bar Association and the Cleveland Metropolitan Bar Association, and worked my way up the ranks to actually run statewide and be elected by 25,000 lawyers here in the state of Ohio to lead our trade association, the Ohio State Bar Association. But it was time for me to give back, and I'd like to say that I became a judge the old-fashioned way. You know, it used to be that judges would spend the first half of their professional time learning their trade, studying the law, representing clients, and that was the foundation upon which you would base a judicial career, because you had studied it, you had lived it, you had worked with clients, sitting across the table from them, explaining the law to them, sometimes giving them some very bad news that they didn't have a case, and living for a while and helping them through their miseries. Because that's what judges and lawyers do. We deal daily with people's miseries, except for an adoption, which is a joyful thing. Most of what we're dealing with are people's problems and their miseries. And I did that for 25 years, and it made me a better judge. You know, my travels around the state of Ohio, both as State Bar Association president and as an appellate judge, I hear so often that Ohioans want to have faith and confidence again in their judicial system. They want a fair, open, and impartial, balanced judicial system in which to resolve their disputes and protect their rights. The public wants judges who will follow the law and the Constitution, not the dictates of special interests. And the public wants an impartial judge, not a legislator in a black robe. It was the late Chief Justice Moyer who explained last summer to a reporter that the idea of a multiple judge court is that the process includes people of different backgrounds, different philosophies, different views on the issues, and the perception of what was then, last summer, an all-Republican court is that we don't have that. I offer the people of Ohio that different background and perspective that's forged in the crucible of 25 years working in the trenches of the court system of Ohio, from small claims court up to the Ohio Supreme Court. As I said, I became a judge the old-fashioned way, by first laying that foundation. My work in the trenches took me not only to state court, but to federal court, to administrative agencies. And that is one of the reasons why I am the only Supreme Court candidate out of all the contested races. I am the only Supreme Court candidate to have received a perfect 4.0 excellent rating from the Judicial Candidates Rating Coalition. And in fact, I have been highly recommended by every state and local bar association that engages in a rating process. I am not a career elected official, nor did I rely on those who are politically well connected to achieve my positions either as a bar leader, state bar president, or as a judge. Rather, I relied on people who believed in independent thought, who believed in fidelity to the Constitution and precedent, and shared my very deep passion for the law and court reform to help me attain positions where I could make a difference. As a state and a national bar leader, and as the presiding and administrative judge of a multi-county court, as administrative judge, you actually run the business of the court. I've been able to affect positive change both in my profession and in the judicial system in Ohio. I want to continue that work as an associate justice on the Ohio Supreme Court, and I'll reserve the balance of my time. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Trapp and Justice Lansinger. You have 1 minute.
If you ask ordinary people how to reach the highest level of a specialized profession, they would tell you the old-fashioned way is a step-by-step process. Judging is a specialty very different from being an attorney, and different skills are developed. When you're an attorney, you're an advocate. You are representing one person. You are attempting to do your very best for that individual. And so you are focused on one side of a case. Judging is a specialty that requires open-mindedness, neutrality, fairness, and impartiality. I believe that the old-fashioned way would be working as a municipal, common pleas, Court of Appeals, and Supreme Court Justice. That would be the best experience you could have for this position.
Thank you. And Judge Trapp, you now have 1.5 minutes.
You know, good lawyers know that you serve a dual role. And good lawyers know that they're not hired guns. My opponent has referred to lawyers as hired guns. Ethical lawyers know that we have a dual obligation. We owe an obligation to our clients to give them fair, impartial opinions about the law and about their case, and to advocate for them in court within the bounds of the rules of professional conduct. But we also know that we have an obligation as officers of the court. So we are not hired guns. Because of my extensive trial and appellate experience, I was picked by judges to serve on the Ohio Judicial Conference Civil Law and Procedure Committee when I was an attorney.